Welcome to my channel. Try to hear the latest story.
You're banned from my wedding. I don't want the venue to smell like sewage. My sister said after mocking my plumbing job for years, she didn't know the sewage guy was funding it. So I pulled every payment and watched her dream wedding collapse before dawn. Hey Reddit, I never thought I'd end up writing here, but the past year turned my life inside out. What started as me helping out family and my best friend for a wedding turned into a full-blown disaster that showed me who people really are. I'm not here for sympathy, just to get this story off my chest and maybe remind someone that loyalty shouldn't mean letting people walk all over you. I, Daniel, 30 male, work as a plumber by trade. I make decent money, I fix real problems, and I don't need to sit in some fake smiling office pretending spreadsheets are world-saving work. My hands are rough, my back's tired half the time, but when I clock out, something actually works because of me. That's more than I can say for half the people who've mocked what I do. My sister Amanda being one of them. Amanda's the kind of person who says self-made, but still calls mom to pay for her car insurance. Everything in her life has to look perfect, even if she has to duct tape it behind the scenes. And of course, she's always had something to say about my job. You should get a real career, she told me once. Something with an office. Like Jake. Jake's my best friend. We grew up together, same schools, same neighborhood, same stupid adventures. He was the calm one, the guy teachers loved, always polite and organized. I was the one sneaking tools into science class to see if I could fix the school fountain. He ended up working in finance, a desk warrior, as I like to call it. And yeah, he's a good guy, just not the confrontational type. If conflict were a sport, Jake would be the guy holding the water bottles. So when he and Amanda started dating, I honestly thought it was funny at first. Like the universe ran out of new people and decided to recycle. But Jake was happy, Amanda was glowing, and I wasn't going to be the bitter brother. I was actually proud of them. When they got engaged, I was the one who helped him pick out the ring. That's how real it was to me. A couple months before the wedding, Jake called me one night. He sounded nervous, like the way he did when he used to ask girls out in high school. Hey man, he said, I need a favor. I thought it was something simple, picking up a suit, helping move furniture, whatever. But he tells me his company docked a big chunk of his paycheck because of a mistake he made in a report. He was embarrassed. Please don't tell Amanda, he said. She'll think I'm unreliable. I just need a little help till I catch up. I didn't even think twice. Jake's always been there for me. We've patched drywall together, fixed busted pipes in my truck together. So, sure. I said yeah, I'd help. Jake swore he'd pay me back once things leveled out, and I trusted him, because that's what you do for your best friend. Amanda, of course, had no idea, and she kept up her usual comedy routine about my job. Every time we were in a room together, she had to mention it. At a family dinner, she wrinkled her nose and said, Daniel, did you shower before coming here? You smell like a toolbox. I smiled. Don't worry, sis. That smell is called hard work. You should try it sometime. She didn't laugh. Mom glared at me for being rude. Yeah, okay. Anyway, fast forward a few weeks before the wedding. It's a Wednesday night. I just got home from a long job, replaced a busted sewer line in some guy's backyard. I'm covered in dirt, starving, and about to heat up leftover pasta. My phone buzzes. Family group chat. Amanda, you're not invited. I don't want the venue to smell like sewage. And right underneath it, Mom's little heart reaction. Right after she sent that, she booted me from the chat. I just stood there, staring at my screen. You ever read something so stupid your brain refuses to process it for a second? I thought maybe it was a joke, some kind of prank. But then I saw Mom's name with that heart, and I realized, nope, they were dead serious. I didn't reply, didn't throw my phone, didn't curse. I just sat there in my kitchen, still in my work boots, staring at that one message glowing on the screen. You're not invited. Funny thing is, I wasn't even mad right away. It was like my brain couldn't keep up. I just kept thinking about all those payments I'd made. Every single part of that perfect wedding was sitting quietly in my banking app under pending. And this woman, my sister, the one who called me a plumbing mascot last Christmas, just told me not to show up because I'd ruin the aesthetic. I remember laughing. Not a happy laugh, the kind you make when something finally clicks in the worst way possible. After a few minutes, I opened my phone again and stared at the message one more time. Amanda's name, her words, Mom's heart reaction. Then I hit the lock button, set it face down, and leaned back in my chair. All right, I thought. If I'm not invited, I guess my money isn't either. And just like that, whatever switch flips inside people right before they're done, mine flipped. I sat there for a bit. Then I opened my laptop and pulled up my spreadsheet. Yeah, I keep one. People think plumbers just grunt and twist wrenches, but I like my numbers clean. I scrolled through the list. Venue deposit, catering, florist, tent rental, decorations, DJ, all of it under my name. What started as a couple of favors had quietly turned into something close to $10,000. 10 grand. For a wedding, I was apparently too dirty to attend. I'd already put down about $1,200 in deposits here and there. The rest, nearly $980, was sitting in pending auto payments waiting to clear. It hadn't started that way, though. The first time Jake asked for help, it was just the cake testing deposit. $200. I'll Venmo you next week, he'd said. He didn't. Then it was the flower arrangement. Then the chairs. Then the tent. The man couldn't say no to Amanda if she had a blade to his neck. Please, man. She'll freak out if I tell her, he'd say every time. Just till my checks are normal again. They're deducting for that mistake at work. And I'd shrug, thinking, whatever. I make steady money. I can help. I didn't even care about getting it back right away. That's how I was raised. You help people you care about. I just didn't realize I was helping people who thought I was beneath them. I could still hear Amanda's voice in my head. She never missed a chance to remind me where she thought I stood, on her invisible ladder. Daniel, maybe wear something without stains for the rehearsal dinner, she'd said once. We don't want people thinking you came straight from fixing a toilet. Another time, when they were doing wine tastings, she laughed and told Jake, don't bother bringing him. He probably can't tell the difference between champagne and dish soap. I laughed along because that's what you do. You keep things civil. But those little jabs stack up brick by brick until one day someone texts you they don't want you near their venue because of a smell you don't even have. So, yeah, something broke. I grabbed my phone and forwarded the text to Jake. I didn't even add words. Just sent it. A few minutes later, he replied, maybe it's for the better, man. She's just stressed. That line right there hit harder than Amanda's insult. He could have said anything else. She didn't mean it. I'll talk to her. That's messed up. But no, maybe it's for the better. Like I was the problem. I stared at the message until my phone dimmed. Then I locked it, dropped it on the table, and exhaled through my nose. It was that weird calm that shows up before people do something irreversible. I walked to my kitchen sink, washed the grease off my hands, and went back to my laptop. Pulled up the accounts. Every vendor had an automatic payment setup. Catering, DJ, photographer, decorations, tent rental, venue balance. I hovered over each one. Cancel payment. Click. Freeze card. Click. Remove saved payment method. Click. Every click sounded better than the last. The florist's website even popped up a warning. This will terminate your existing contract. Good. Terminate it. I wasn't even angry anymore. Just focused. It was like unclogging a drain that had been backed up for months. Watching the filth swirl away felt satisfying. When I finished, I leaned back and checked the totals. About $9,800 stopped midstream. I closed the laptop and looked around my quiet apartment. Everything in there, I'd bought myself. No handouts, no fake smiles, no filters, just hard work and a bit of common sense. Meanwhile, Amanda was out there planning her fantasy wedding on a foundation she didn't even know was mine. I pictured her showing up at the florist, bossing people around, thinking Jake was footing the bill. I pictured her posting her bridal journey stories with captions like #grateful and #blessed, not realizing the plumber she couldn't stand was the one keeping the lights on behind her little production. I laughed. Not the angry kind this time. The oh man, this is about to get interesting kind. I picked up my phone again. No new messages. Jake had probably gone to bed pretending this would fix itself. Amanda was probably posting something fake about cutting out negative energy, her favorite phrase for people who don't kiss my ass. I took one last look at the banking app. All zeros in the upcoming payments column. Then I locked my phone, tossed it on the couch, and turned on the TV. Some cooking show was playing. I didn't even watch it. Just needed some background noise while I sat there thinking about how strange it was that silence can feel louder than yelling. That night, I slept better than I had in months. No buzzing notifications, no guilt, no worrying about keeping the peace. Just quiet. Amanda thought she'd cut me off. She had no idea she'd just unplugged herself. The next morning started earlier than usual. I woke up to my phone vibrating like it owed me money. 10 missed calls, 3 voicemails, and my email inbox blowing up with subject lines like urgent payment failure and account declined notice. For a second, I thought maybe my card got hacked. Then I remembered. Oh yeah, I did that. I got up, made coffee, and started scrolling through the messages while leaning against the counter. The florist was first. Hi, Daniel. We're reaching out because your payment didn't go through. Could you confirm if the card on file is still valid? Then the tent rental company. We're unable to process the balance for the reservation. Please contact us to avoid cancellation. Then the caterer, sounding more annoyed than confused. Hi, this is Ron from Perfect Plates Catering. We're getting repeated declines on your account. Please call ASAP or your event booking will be released. I smiled into my coffee mug. The event booking. Right. By the time I finished the cup, I could already imagine the other side of town. Amanda pacing around in her pajamas, shrieking at Jake, Mom probably hovering behind her with that face she makes when she's pretending to be neutral, but already picked a side. I set my phone down, grabbed my toolbox, and headed out for work. Figured if chaos was coming, it could wait until after I fixed Mrs. Clem's leaking sink. I didn't even make it halfway down the block before Jake started calling. I let it ring twice, then answered. Man, what did you do? He said, his voice shaky. Everything's being canceled. The florist, the caterer, the... Guess I'm not invited, remember? I said, cutting him off. He went quiet. For a long second, all I heard was his breathing and Amanda yelling something in the background that sounded like, Tell him to fix it! Bro, he finally said. She didn't mean it like that, okay? She was just stressed. Yeah, I said. She's always stressed when she doesn't get her way. Before he could start another apology, I hung up. I wasn't in the mood for his excuses. An hour later, I was under Mrs. Clem's sink, elbow deep in pipes, when my phone started buzzing again. I ignored it. Buzzed again. Ignored it. Third time, I wiped my hands on a rag and looked at the screen. Mom. I let it go to voicemail. Then another call came in. Unknown number. I answered, thinking it might be one of the vendors. Hi, this is Lauren from Blush and Bloom Florals, the voice said, tight and polite. Amanda just called screaming at us. She said you're refusing to pay and that you're sabotaging her wedding. I just need to confirm what's happening. Because I'd signed as the payer and primary contact on every contract, the vendors all had my number, not hers. I actually laughed out loud. Sabotaging? Nah, I just stopped paying for something I wasn't invited to. There was a pause. Then Lauren said quietly, Oh, I see. Yeah, I said. If she wants her flowers, she can pay for them herself. Have a good one. I hung up and went back to work, whistling. By the time I finished the job and got back in my truck, my phone was lighting up nonstop. Jake, Mom, Amanda, even one of her bridesmaids. Texts pouring in like it was breaking news. From Mom. Daniel, whatever you did, fix it. Amanda is hysterical. From Amanda. You're a child. You ruined everything. From Jake. Man, please, just talk to her. I didn't reply to any of them. I just drove home, grabbed a sandwich, and waited. By noon, the group chat was apparently on fire. I wasn't in it anymore. Amanda had kicked me out the night before, but I started getting screenshots from my cousin Ryan. Amanda sent Daniel just canceled everything because he's jealous. He wants attention. He can't stand that I'm successful. Mom chimed in. He's always been difficult. Don't feed into it. Then, someone asked who'd been paying for everything, because apparently the florist mentioned my name when Amanda called to complain. That's when the real show started. Jake tried to handle it quietly at first, but Amanda doesn't do quiet. She cornered him, yelling loud enough that even Ryan said you could hear her on speaker. You knew he was paying for this? She screamed. You let me think you were paying for it. Jake cracked like a dropped pipe. I just needed help, Amanda. I was going to pay him back. That's when she lost it. Full meltdown mode. Crying, throwing stuff, calling everyone ungrateful. I was at home sitting on the couch, eating chips, when her name lit up on my screen. For a second, I considered ignoring it. Then I thought, no, let's give her 1 minute. I answered, Hey, sewage smell here? What's up? Don't play dumb, she snapped. You ruined my wedding. You embarrassed me in front of everyone. Embarrassed you? I said. You told me not to come. I just listened. You're unbelievable. I get that a lot. And I hung up. The next call came from Mom. Straight to voicemail. Then again. Then again. I blocked her for the rest of the day. By the evening, I heard through Ryan that Amanda was still in full crisis mode, crying to vendors, blaming technical issues, trying to get extensions she couldn't afford. Me. I was on the couch, feet up, watching a documentary about old muscle cars. Every once in a while, my phone buzzed, and I'd glance at the name. Mom. Jake. Amanda. Same loop. I muted it and kept watching. Let them panic. For once, I wasn't the one running around fixing other people's mess. The next few days were pure entertainment. If you had enough distance from the explosion, which I did. The first blast hit Facebook. Amanda made a long, dramatic post that could have won an award for delusion. Some people can't stand seeing others happy. My own brother tried to sabotage my wedding because he's bitter and jealous. I guess not everyone can handle success. Success. She was surviving on Jake's paycheck and free samples from her influencer collabs. But sure, success. Within an hour, Mom joined in, commenting underneath, "He's always been difficult. We tried to support him, but he chose that plumbing job, and now he's embarrassing the family again." Amanda replied with hearts and exactly Mom. If that wasn't enough, Mom made her own post the next morning. Classic mom move. A paragraph full of passive-aggressive guilt bait. It's sad when your own child turns against you. Some people just can't handle responsibility. The comments were full of sympathy from her Facebook church friends who didn't know the story, all typing, "praying for you." But the real magic happened a few hours later. Apparently, someone screenshotted Amanda's post and shared it to a blue-collar pride Facebook group, one with thousands of tradespeople. It blew up. The comments section turned into a firing squad. "What's wrong with plumbing? You like running water, don't you? She can flush her attitude with the rest of the waste. Sounds like this lady's allergic to work." Someone even found Amanda's public Instagram and started leaving comments like, "Hope your toilet breaks, princess." I didn't encourage it, but I didn't exactly cry over it either. When I checked my phone that night, I had 27 unread messages. Cousins, aunts, random extended relatives I hadn't talked to in years. Ryan sent me, "Bro, what's going on?" Just talk to her, man. Then my cousin Haley, "Family's family. You should fix it." Yeah, okay. They all wanted me to fix it. Like I was the plumber for people's feelings too. Jake was still playing Switzerland, of course. He'd text random peace offerings. "Man, she's just upset. Your mom is making it worse." I'm trying to calm everyone down. The guy could watch a house burn down and still say, "Let's just wait it out." Every time he texted, I respected him a little less. Meanwhile, Amanda kept posting selfies pretending her life was still fine. Captions like, "You can't stop my shine," or "God removes people for a reason." The usual nonsense. But behind the scenes, I knew things were falling apart fast. The vendors were officially done. I started getting forwarded emails from a few of them. One even said, "We're terminating the contract due to non-payment." Then I got a voicemail from the venue manager. "Hi, Mr. Smith, just confirming the wedding for Amanda S. and Jake P. has been suspended pending payment. Please let us know if you'd like to reinstate the booking." Suspended. Not canceled yet. Suspended. That word made me smile. Like they were holding her dream by a thread. At work, I kept my head down. Tom, one of the older plumbers on our crew, had seen all the drama online because, of course, everyone at work had. He came up to me at lunch one day and said, "You did right, man. You can't fix stupid, even with a wrench." I laughed, biting into my sandwich. "Guess I finally unclogged something that's been stuck for years." He grinned. "Yeah, toxic family drains are the worst kind." Then Jake called again. "Hey, man," he started, voice low. "It's getting bad. She's saying you hacked her bank account or something." "Let her," I said. "I'm busy. Look, can you at least tell me what exactly you canceled? The vendors keep calling me." I almost felt bad for him. Almost. "Everything," I said. "All of it. The florist, the tent, the DJ, the caterer, the venue. You name it. They're all waiting for payment." He was silent for a moment. "She's losing it, man. Your mom, too." "Yeah," I said. "They're good at that." He sighed like the world was ending. "You really don't care?" I leaned back in my chair, watching the sunset fade over the rooftops. "Jake, I cared for years. Look where that got me." He didn't have an answer for that. When the call ended, I turned my phone off and just sat there. For the first time in my life, my family's chaos didn't feel like my responsibility. Amanda could post whatever she wanted. Mom could play victim all she wanted. Jake could sit on both sides of the fence until it collapsed under him. I was done being the guy who patched leaks for people who kept flooding their own lives. For once, I wasn't fixing it. I was watching it drain. And man, it drained fast. Amanda's desperation went from dramatic to downright pathetic in less than a week. She started messaging everyone. Cousins, old high school friends, even people she hadn't spoken to in years. Spinning new lies with every text. Apparently, the news story was that they got scammed by the bank. The bank. Right. Because banks are out here personally targeting brides with glittery Pinterest boards. My cousin Ryan forwarded me screenshots. "Hey girl, we're in a tough spot. Some financial glitch froze our wedding payments. Anything you can spare would help. We got scammed. It's crazy. The system failed us. Nobody bought it. The same people who watched her roast plumbers online weren't exactly lining up to donate to her bank crisis. Some of them even sent her screenshots of the plumber group roasting her. She stopped replying to those real quick. Meanwhile, Jake's parents found out the truth. Not the bank scam version, the real one. Amanda had been crying to them on the phone about how everything got canceled out of nowhere, and Jake's mom, bless her soul, decided to call the florist directly. That conversation opened every locked door. When she found out I'd been the one paying, the smelly plumber brother she'd heard so much about, she called Jake immediately. From what I heard later, it wasn't pretty. His mom lit him up like a Christmas tree. His dad told him he was an embarrassment for letting his fiancée treat me like garbage while I funded their wedding behind the scenes. They were disgusted with both of them, especially when they heard I wasn't even invited. Jake didn't go to work for 2 days after that. Then one evening, I heard a knock on my apartment door. I opened it, and there he was. Eyes red, face pale, looking like someone had unplugged his soul. "Can I come in?" he asked. I stepped aside but didn't say a word. He sat on the edge of the couch, elbows on his knees. "You were right," he said quietly. "About everything." I leaned on the counter, arms crossed. "That's new. Usually, people wait until I'm dead to say that." He exhaled hard. "I messed up, man. Big time. I just wanted to keep things calm, you know? Amanda? She's intense. I didn't want her to think I couldn't handle it." I didn't reply. I let the silence sit heavy. "Finally," he said, "I'll pay you back. Every penny. It's going to take a while, but I promise." I raised an eyebrow. "Start with half. I don't need promises. I need effort." He nodded, looking down. "Okay, I will." "Good," I said. "And do yourself a favor. Grow a spine. You can't fix people who only respect what they can take from you." He nodded again, but I could tell he didn't fully get it yet. Guys like Jake rarely do until it's too late. He left quietly. A few days later, I got my next visitor, and it wasn't one I wanted. It was late afternoon. I'd just gotten home from a long day crawling under someone's house, fixing a burst pipe when I heard frantic knocking, like the kind that says, "This is either a crime scene or a family emergency." I opened the door. Amanda stood there, makeup smeared, hair a mess, eyes puffy like she'd been crying for hours. She looked nothing like the perfectly filtered version of herself she sold online. "Daniel, please," she said, voice shaking. "You have to help me. Everything's falling apart." I leaned on the doorframe, calm as ever. "Didn't expect to see you, princess." I thought I wasn't invited. Wouldn't want the place to smell like sewage. She flinched like I'd slapped her. "Don't do that," she said. "Don't make jokes right now." "I'm serious." "You're always serious when you need something," I said. Her eyes darted around, like she was looking for an angle. "You can afford it. You make good money, right? It's just money. You can fix this." I couldn't help but laugh. "You know what's funny? You sound exactly like every client I've ever had. They flush a whole roll of paper towels down the drain, then call me crying because the water won't go down. And when I show up, they say, 'Can you just fix it?' You know what I tell them?" She glared at me, not answering. I leaned closer. "Stop flushing crap you can't afford." Her jaw dropped. "You're unbelievable," she yelled. "You ruined my life. You don't even care." "Oh, I care," I said. "I care that I wasted 10 grand on someone who thinks plumbing is beneath her. I care that you humiliated me for years while taking my money behind my back. But fix it? Nah, I'm off the clock." "Please, Daniel," she cried, grabbing my arm. I stepped back and pointed toward the hallway. "Out." "Daniel?" "Out," her voice cracked. "I have nothing." "Sounds peaceful," I said, and shut the door. She started banging on it, shouting curses, crying, switching between begging and blaming. The whole show. I turned on the TV and sat down. The sound of her yelling got fainter after a while, then stopped altogether. When I peeked through the window a few minutes later, she was gone. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel angry or guilty, just clear. Some people break things when they lose control. Others, like me, just stop holding them together. A few days after Amanda's visit, everything started falling apart fast. I didn't need to do anything. It was like gravity finally caught up to her. First came the text from Ryan. "Bro, did you hear? Jake called off the wedding." I didn't answer right away. I scrolled up, reread it, then typed one word back. "Good. Ichiro." Then I tossed the phone on the counter and went back to tightening a pipe under my sink. But the news spread quick. Within a day, everyone knew the engagement was dead. Jake had packed up his stuff, left Amanda's apartment, and moved back in with his parents. He didn't even wait a week. Apparently, Amanda had gone into full meltdown mode, crying, screaming, promising him she'd make it right. She begged him to stay. Jake told her no. Word is, his exact words were, "You're toxic, Amanda. I'm done covering for you." That one line spread through the family chat like wildfire. Even people who used to worship her were suddenly quiet. Jake's parents didn't stay quiet, though. They showed up at Amanda's apartment the next day. From what Aunt Julia later told me, it wasn't a conversation. It was an intervention. His mom told her she'd humiliated their family. His dad said they never wanted to see her again. They left without saying goodbye. Amanda tried posting a sad Instagram story later that night. Black background, white text. People always leave when you need them most. She forgot to mention why. Within a few days, a 3-day notice went up on her door. She'd already been 2 months behind on rent, and now that the wedding money was gone and Jake was out, the landlord wasn't waiting anymore. I didn't even find out until Mom showed up at my place. It was a Saturday afternoon. I'd just finished cleaning the truck when I heard her knock. I opened the door and there she was, clutching her purse like she was holding a fragile secret. "Your sister's moving back in with me," she said immediately. "They're evicting her." I leaned against the doorframe, keeping my face neutral. "And?" She frowned. "Don't start with that tone. You know she's struggling." "She's been struggling with reality for years," I said. "That's not my fault." "Daniel, be reasonable. We're tight on money right now. If you could just—" "No," I said. "Daniel, listen." I said no, Mom. The old version of me would have caved right there, would have handed over a check just to end the guilt trip. But that version was gone. I didn't owe Amanda another cent, and I wasn't about to start funding her redemption tour. Mom sighed and shook her head like I was some heartless stranger. "She's still your sister." "Yeah," I said. "And I'm still the plumber she called trash. We all play our roles." I closed the door gently, didn't slam it, just closed it. That night I made dinner, put on some music, and felt calm. Not happy, not angry, just still. A few hours later, around midnight, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something made me answer. The second I said hello, I heard it. Amanda's voice, shaky and desperate. "You destroyed my life!" she screamed. "You took everything from me!" I didn't speak, just listened while she went on. "I lost Jake. I lost my apartment. Everyone hates me now. You made me look like a fool. You think you're better than me, huh? You're not. You're a plumber, Daniel. A plumber." Her voice cracked, turning from rage to sobs. I waited until she quieted down a little, then said, calm as ever, "No, Amanda, you did that yourself." And I hung up. The next morning, Aunt Julia called. She's one of the few relatives who actually pays attention before picking sides. "I heard from your mom," she said. "Amanda's telling everyone you ruined her wedding, but people are starting to see through her. Word's gotten around about who really paid for it." "I'm not surprised," I said. "Truth has better timing than karma." Julia chuckled softly. "You did the right thing, Daniel. You just stopped feeding a monster." "Yeah," I said. "And she's starving now." After that call, I went to work like usual. Fixed a broken heater, replaced a drain line, grabbed lunch with Tom. He asked if the family drama was over yet. "Getting there," I said. "It's quieter now." When I got home that evening, there was another knock on my door. I looked through the peephole. Mom again. I opened it halfway. She didn't even say hi. "She's impossible, Daniel. I can't deal with her. She's sitting on my couch crying all day, saying you ruined her life. I told her she needs to get a job, and she screamed at me." I crossed my arms. "Welcome to my world. Daniel, please." "She's my daughter, and she's my sister," I said. "Doesn't mean she gets another dime from me." Mom sighed again, rubbing her forehead. "You've changed." "Yeah," I said. "Finally." She didn't argue after that. She just muttered something about hoping I could find forgiveness one day, and walked off. When the door closed, I looked around my quiet apartment. Clean floors, tools stacked neatly, bills paid, nobody yelling. For the first time in years, I realized how peaceful my life could be when I wasn't trying to fix people who refused to tighten their own screws. I wasn't proud. I wasn't angry. Just done. And it felt like freedom. Months went by, and life finally had that quiet rhythm I hadn't known I missed. No drama, no calls, no chaos, just work, sleep, and the kind of peace you don't realize you crave until it shows up. Every other week, my phone would buzz with a small bank transfer. Jake's name popped up each time, along with notes like, "Another one," or "Almost done, man." At first, I didn't even open them. I'd just see the amount and nod. But over time, it added up. He wasn't just paying me back, he was keeping his word. And that counted for something. Work was steady. I was getting more calls. Even hired a part-time helper. Funny thing, after all that drama, I became the guy people trusted to fix things. No one cared if I smelled like a toolbox anymore. They cared that I showed up, got it done, and didn't rip them off. Then came Emily. She wasn't someone I met on an app or through friends. I was fixing a leaking heater in a cafe she managed. She brought me a cup of coffee, cracked a joke about plumbers being the real heroes of winter, and that was it. We started talking, then texting, then dating. She never cared about what I did for a living. In fact, she liked that I worked with my hands. By the time we got engaged, it wasn't a big deal. Not in a bad way, just simple. We had dinner with a few friends and close relatives. No venue, no guest list, no drama. I looked at her across the table and thought, yeah, this is how it's supposed to feel. Jake came too. I hadn't seen him much since everything blew up. He looked different, calmer, grounded, the kind of guy who'd finally stopped trying to please everyone. After dinner, he pulled me aside outside the restaurant. He handed me a small envelope. "This is the last of it," he said. "But honestly, I owed you more than money." I opened it, a final payment, neatly written check. I looked at him and nodded. "You finally grew a pair, huh?" He smirked. "Working on it." We shook hands. It wasn't emotional, no speeches, just two guys who finally understood each other without needing to explain. Amanda didn't show up, of course. Nobody expected her to. I hadn't heard from her since that midnight call months ago. But life has a funny sense of timing. A few weeks after the engagement, Emily and I went out for lunch at this small diner near the highway. I'd been there once before for work. They had good coffee and terrible plumbing. We walked in, sat down, and ordered. I was halfway through my sandwich when Emily nudged me. "That waitress looks a lot like you," she said, laughing. I turned my head and froze for half a second. It was Amanda. She was in a faded apron, hair tied back, no makeup, wiping tables with a look that didn't belong to the old version of her. For a second, I almost didn't recognize her. The shine was gone, the filters, the attitude, all stripped away. She was just another person trying to get through a shift. Then, as if fate wanted to write its own punchline, I saw her go to the back and start fiddling with the sink. She looked frustrated, tapping the faucet, trying to unclog something. I couldn't help it. I grinned. I leaned slightly toward her and called out just loud enough for her to hear, "Need a plumber for that?" Her head snapped up. Our eyes met for maybe 2 seconds, long enough for her to realize I wasn't mocking, just amused. She froze, then looked away and pretended to be busy. Emily glanced between us, confused. "You know her." I took a sip of coffee. "Yeah," I said with a little smirk. "That's my sister." Emily looked shocked but didn't say anything. I didn't either. We just finished lunch like normal people. When we left, Amanda didn't look up, and I didn't look back. Later, Aunt Julia texted me saying Amanda was living with Mom again, working part-time, trying to find herself. I told her I hoped she did. Genuinely. I wasn't angry anymore. I just didn't care. That night, I sat on the couch flipping through my phone. Somewhere between old photos and work messages, I found it. That text. "You're not invited to the wedding. I don't want the venue to smell like sewage." I read it once, smiled, and locked the screen. Then I leaned back, closed my eyes, and let that old feeling of peace wash over me again. Sometimes I open that text just to remind myself what I walked away from. People like that only notice you when you stop giving. Funny thing is, I stopped giving, and somehow my life finally started. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.